The pilot of a massive mech and one of the most anticipated characters in Honkai Star Rail is finally here. Himeko Nova is not just another erudition unit, she introduces a brand new asset skill system, powerful team buffs, and some of the most impressive animations we have seen so far. In this guide, we will cover everything you need to know, including her kit, best builds, lightcones, relics, teams, eidolons, and whether she is worth pulling. Before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe button. Now if you have done that, let's get this video started. Himeko Nova is a 5-star erudition character, just like her original version. As usual, the basic attack is not particularly important right now, so let's start with other skills. To begin with, what exactly does Himeko Nova bring to the table? Her talent deploys a robotic companion and gives every ally access to a brand new command called the assist skill, complete with its own assist skill charges. This assist skill is treated as a regular skill, and every time it's used, Himeko gains increased all-type res pen and crit damage. It also ignores any weakness types, and whenever another teammate activates it, Himeko regenerates energy. The attack itself deals AoE damage and can also unlock different modes, depending on which Astral Express members use it. The first mode is Verdict, which boosts Himeko's overall damage as well as her ultimate damage. On top of that, after your team uses 2 ultimates, it automatically triggers a free assist skill. The second mode is Decimation. Instead of buffing Himeko directly, it increases every ally's crit damage along with skill crit damage. After your team lands a total of 9 hits on enemies, it also activates a free assist skill automatically. Moving on to her skill, it fully restores all assist skill charges and places Himeko into a 3-turn state. During this time, the entire team deals increased damage, and Himeko recovers 1 assist skill charge at the beginning of each turns. Her ultimate is where things really get interesting. Once activated, Himeko enters her mecha form and performs 6 attacks, along with 3 empowered attacks that scale based on her stacks. Her standard enhanced attack deals AoE damage while generating 1 stack. The empowered version also hits all enemies but becomes significantly stronger the more stacks you have accumulated. Once all 6 stacks are spent, or if an enemy is defeated before then, a powerful finishing attack is automatically unleashed. Her technique is straightforward but incredibly useful. At the beginning of every wave, Himeko automatically casts her skill before anyone takes action. Now for her bonus traces. The first trace makes Himeko own assist skill free to use. If her assist skill charge are already full at the start of her turn, she will generate energy instead. The second trace allows Astral Express teammates to immediately gain extra turn after using assist skill, while also making that action effectively free. The third trace grants Himeko 3 source energy stacks when she activates her ultimate. If she uses her empowered attack while holding at least 3 stacks, it deals even more damage. As for her stat bonuses, Himeko gains attack, crit rate, and fire damage bonus through her traces. Overall, Himeko Nova has a fairly complicated kit, but is also one of the most unique we have ever seen. Sure, it's not quite on the level of those Remembrance characters whose kit practically read like the entire essays, but her assist skill mechanic combined with her Astral Express synergy gives her a very distinctive playstyle. At E0S0, your optimal ultimate rotation should be 1 empowered attack, followed by 3 normal attacks, then another empowered attack, 3 more normal attacks, and finally, let the finishing hit activate automatically. In most situations, you should not spend assist skills on teammates who are not Astral Express members. They won't receive the extra energy generation or the bonus turn afterward, making it much less efficient. When it comes to Himeko's 2 modes, try not to constantly swap between them. In most scenarios, staying in Decimation, the mode that grants team-wide crit damage, results in higher overall team DPS. Next up, let's talk about Himeko Nova's base eidolons. Her E1 increases the number of extra assist skill triggers from her talent by 1. It also lowers the requirement for triggering the free assist skills from both of her modes while boosting the damage of Himeko's own assist skill. And E2 is where things get absolutely ridiculous. It increases your maximum assist skill charges by 2, boosts both ultimate and assist skill damage, restore an additional assist skill point at the start of every turn, and most importantly, extends the extra turn effect from Trailblazer companions to every character. E2 does not just increase her damage or give you more assist skill uses, it completely removes one of the biggest restrictions in her kit. You still want at least 1 trail-based companion to activate her different assist skill modes, but outside of that, every other teammate can now benefit from the free extra turn. In other words, E2 completely unlocks Himeko Nova's team building options. Much like Acheron's E2, is an enormous jump in power and easily one of the strongest eidolons we have seen in the game. E4 grants all tap rest span to the entire team while giving Himeko herself an even larger rest span, making both her personal damage and team's overall damage noticeably stronger. Finally, there's E6. It raises her maximum source energy cap to 6, turning both her assist skill and ultimate into what might honestly be the hardest hitting nuke in the game. At least that's how it looks to me. Overall, Himeko Nova has some incredibly powerful eidolons. E1 is already an excellent stopping point because it's a strong upgrade on its own, while setting you up for E2, which completely transforms her and arguably makes her one of the strongest DPS characters in the entire game. Now that we fully understand how Himeko Nova works, let's start building her. Her best relic set is one of the newer sets in the game, Navigator. It provides attack percent and increases both skill and ultimate damage by up to 54%. Since Himeko's assist skill count as skill damage and her ultimate form is one of her primary damage sources, this set is practically tailor-made for her. Another strong option is Scholar, which performs very similarly. Outside of Navigator and Scholar, none of the other options come particularly close, so those are the two sets I would strongly recommend. For planar ornaments, the best option is Fallen Star and Courage. It grants 8% crit rate, and if both the wearer and another teammate are trail-based companions, provides additional 32% crit damage. The next option is Banana Amusement Park, I think. Take note that you must bring Permancer as a sustain to give his dragon to Himeko. So this planar is probably not good if you play sustainless Himeko. Other than that, Rutland Arena is probably your next option thanks to the crit rate and skill damage bonuses. And if you are pairing Himeko with another Eurydice character such as Herta, Izumo can perform very well too. But in recent showcases shown on YouTube, I think I could not find anyone using Himeko with Herta, so you just might want to skip this. But still, Fallen Star and Courage remains the best overall choice for her planner. For main stats, things are fairly straightforward. Because both her kit and planner set already provide large amounts of crit damage, your body piece should always be crit rate. For boots, attack percent is preferred. Running speed boots is actually a noticeable damage loss because we want Himeko's assist skills to hit as hard as possible. For the rope and sphere, both energy or attack would work, but if your Himeko is S1, I think using attack is better since you already get additional energy from her signature. On the other hand, energy might be good if your Himeko is S0. On the sphere specifically, fire damage bonus and attack percent perform very similarly, so simply use whichever piece has better substats. For substats, prioritize crit rate and crit damage. Crit rate is especially important because her kit already supplies huge amounts of crit damage. After crit stats, attack percent becomes your next priority. Speed substats generally don't matter unless you are specifically aiming for the 134 speed breakpoint. If you are not targeting that benchmark, you can safely ignore speed and focus entirely on increasing her damage output. Now let's move on to Lightcones. Finding a Lightcone for Himeko Nova is honestly hilarious because almost everything works. She has so many good options that narrowing them down is actually difficult. Her signature Lightcone is obviously the best. It allows Himeko to ignore 20% of enemy defense whenever she deals damage. Whenever she uses as a skill, she gains a sail stack for 2 turns, with up to 3 stacks in total. Each stack increases as a skill damage by 24%. Upon reaching 3 stacks, those stacks additionally provide 24% ultimate damage each, totaling 72% ultimate damage. The combination of defense ignore, assist skill damage, and ultimate damage is exactly everything Himeko wants. Another good option is Herta's signature Lightcone. Since both Herta and Himeko Nova are DPS characters who rely heavily on their skill and ultimate, the Lightcone fits her surprisingly well. The extra skill point generation is especially valuable, and because Himeko's ultimate also costs 140 energy, she can make excellent use of its effects. The next best Lightcone is her OG signature, which is the Knight on Milky Way. Take note that there's a huge gap between this and her real signature, but it's still a viable option. So these 3 are her top 3 LC options. Other than that, they are definitely not the best options for her. Her damage noticeably get lowered, but thanks to her being Erudition unit, at least she get plenty of other options. Now let's talk about teams. When it comes to Himeko Nova teammates, the Astral Express members are the obvious choices, but there are a few characters that deserve special attention before we get into team recommendations. The first is Action Advanced Support, and honestly, Himeko almost can't function optimally without one. The reason is simple. Her assist skill charge are restored on Himeko's own turns. Without frequent action advances, it's almost impossible for her to take enough turns to keep assist skills available for the rest of the team. If your teammates can consistently use their assist skills, you are losing a massive amount of damage. That's why having at least one action advancer is practically mandatory, and in some cases, even running 2 can be worth considering. Next are the standout Astral Express teammates, E4 Welt, E6 RMC, and Permancer. For E4 Welt, he's already incredibly powerful on his own, but the biggest reason he shines here is that he's currently the strongest Decimation teammate. And if you have been following along, you will know that Decimation is generally Himeko's strongest acid skill mode. Because of that, even at E0, Welt is excellent partner for her. Then there's E6 RMC, who is simply an absurdly strong character overall. Besides being the best teammate for activating Verdict, RMC also provides the action advance that Himeko desperately wants, making the pairing even stronger. As for Permancer, he's almost automatic inclusion. Not only is he one of the strongest sustained options in the game, but he is also Astral Express member, allowing him to fully support Himeko's unique mechanics. Finally, we have Morton X Blade, arguably Himeko's strongest non-Astral Express teammate. He constantly applies powerful debuffs while attacking frequently, which benefits both the Verdict and Decimation playstyle. If you own him, he's definitely one of Himeko's best partners. Assuming everyone is E0S0, one of her strongest teams would be Sunday, Morton X Blade, and Danhang Permancer. Sunday and Permancer fulfill the Astral Express requirement, while Sunday also provides the crucial action advance Himeko relies on. Morton X Blade rounds out the team by supplying incredible debuffs and excellent overall support. If you don't have Morton X Blade, Sparkle becomes excellent replacement. She allows Himeko to take even more turns. If you happen to own E4 Welt, he is another fantastic substitute for Morton X Blade. And then you can replace either Sunday or Permancer with supports like Sparkle or Hua, depending on what your team needs. Meanwhile, E6 RMC is flexible enough to fill almost any missing position. So if you are playing on a completely free-to-play account, solid teams could include lines up like Sparkle, RMC, and Permancer, or RMC, Welt, and Permancer, along with other similar combinations depending on which characters you have available. One thing we definitely can't skip is Himeko Nova's absolutely ridiculous signature Lightcone, which brings us to the classic question, E1 or S1? This time, S1 comes out on top. If you are comparing only E1 versus S1, the value provided by E1 simply is not enough to compete with what her signature Lightcone offers. That said, E2 completely changed the equation. It's so incredibly powerful that if you have the opportunity to reach E2, even if it means skipping S1 for the time being, it's absolutely the better investment. So in terms of overall value, the priority looks like this: E2 S1 first, followed by E2 S0, E1 S1, E0 S1, and then E1 S0. So after this, are you guys ready for Himeko Nova? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button, turn notification as well so you won't be missing out on any of my style content. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye bye!